G'day everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse, Tucker World Marks Point, with this Friday's fishing report. What a magnificent backdrop here, all the way up Swansea Channel, up to Swansea Bridge. And probably around Wednesday night onwards, it's going to be 10 nights after the full moon. I think we're going to see a bit of a prawn run happening. It's the first prawn run of this season. The next one running back into around close to Melbourne Cup Day, I reckon. But look, everything's pinned on this. At the moment, there's quite a few bream in the system. A lot of the bream are already milking and spawning, so we're seeing a lot of fish on the flats behind me here, a lot of school fish, 23 to 28 centimetres, but there's some really nice fish down the back of the lake. The advantage is you can get out of the current and get out of the wind, and that's what's going to happen this weekend. We're going to have southerly winds, particularly tomorrow afternoon, maybe not as bad as Sunday, but very direct on Sunday, and some cooler conditions next week. The prawns really like these southerly winds. They move from the back of the lake up to the channel and come out on that run out tide. I think this weekend, if you can put up with the southerly, you'll get some really nice fish in the channel. There's been some nice flathead moving out of the deep water, and that's where it's sort of stalemated a little bit in the lake. The deeper water has not been producing the flathead, the shallower water has. And again, the emphasis on this prawn run to come, it'll start to move some fish into that little shallow area, particularly behind me here on those flats. There's been a few squid around. Again, last weekend, we've seen some very nice catches of mulloway on that full moon. And when we did the report last Friday, there was quite a few boats down at Murray's Beach getting squid and trying to keep a few of those squid live. We've got some really nice photos this week also, some very nice mullow around that metre mark. Again, that'll start to build as we move back into the next dark cycle. I don't see much happening offshore this week with the southerly winds. Been some salmon around, been a few reds, and of course those flathead in and around about that 40 to 45 metre mark, but it's going to be difficult in those wind conditions. I think even on the rocks it might be a little bit wind blown. Areas such as Blacksmith's Breakwater, if you're out of the LGA, Newcastle Harbour and no doubt Port Stephens will help a little bit, but look, it's going to be a little bit tough with those winds. On the beaches, Blacksmith's Beach get a bit of protection, and probably a little bit towards Catherine Bay up towards the jetty. But there's been a few bream, whiting and flathead getting caught, and the tailor, there was a few big schools of tailor off the beach last night, but they tended to move out and they weren't coming in. Still seeing a few salmon in the channel, but look, again, we're going to start to get fairly late with what's going on. This week's winner, Samson Lysaght, 10-year-old, went up to Blacksmith's Breakwater last weekend and got himself a 42 centimetre bream. That is a fantastic catch for young Samson. Next week, of course, we've got our major draw of the ZEREK fishing competition for, in part, this 4-week period. So keep those photographs coming in, and we'll see you next week.